Okay, everybody, just out here looking at our second planted cornfield. This was planted right after Easter, and as you can see, it's up. It's up, but boy, it needs some heat. And even this morning, it's a chilly wind out here. It's cold. It's cold. We're going to get to 68 degrees, but boy, what 85 degrees would do for this. We got a pretty good crust on this ground, but not bad. I mean, it's the corn's up. I feel pretty good about that. But just look at it's almost white. It just needs some heat to grow. It really needs some heat to grow. And hopefully we'll get some heat to grow. Continuing the corn tour here, this is the last field of corn that we planted. As you see, there's no corn up. You can see these hills off in the background. This is a farm that we no-till. We got to no-till it. It's rough enough. The conservation plan calls for it to no-till. And so I just kind of want to show you here. We've planted it. That's where the row will be. It's cracking. It's not crusted real bad. Of course, there's a lot of sand in this. I'm not going to dig up the corn plant yet. What I really wanted to show you here was you can see this soybean residue. And there's a few weeds coming up. There's a lamb's quarter growing. And you can see how this residue has done a pretty good job up on this hill holding this. But let's get down here and we'll show you down here along where the car's parked. We keep strips of grass along our ditches. And that's why. As you can see, there's some dirt. There's some dirt in that residue. You can see there's a lot of soybean stubble here. A lot of soybean stubble. And it's got some dirt mixed in it. But that's kept out of that creek. You look right that way. There's a little creek right there in those trees. The dirt all stopped right along here. We're trying to keep the water clean for you non-farming people, non-ag people. This is the things we do. And all the way along here, and I don't know if Judy can shoot all the way down there, your round bales off in the distance and that, we have strips of grass all the way along this creek. And we no-till this. Even where it's more level and we don't have to no-till it by the conservation plan, we do. But, we got that 4 inches of rain, but there had to be one that came along here real quick, real fast at one time. And now I'm going to have to go over this whole farm and look and make sure I don't have any gullies. I don't have any washed out spots. They're not going to be drowned out, but we're just going to have to make sure they're not washed out. Just happens when you get that kind of water and that kind of moisture. What really surprised me is how dry this farm is. It's dry. It's drier than I thought, which means a lot of that water all came at once. And when it all came at once, of course, it just a lot of it washed off. And let's just show down here. You can see this soybean stubble residue along with the dirt in the grass strip. I mean, the no-till works pretty good. As you can see up on that hill, it kept a lot of the ground, and a lot of that residue stayed there. But still, we got a gully washer, and it brought some down here. And you never like to see it, but at least we kept the dirt here in this strip of grass, and it didn't leave the farm. And that's always a good thing. We like to keep our dirt in place. We like to keep our topsoil in place. We work hard to make sure we got good topsoil on the top. I guess that doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but the farmers would understand. The topsoil is the dirt that we plant in and that we grow in and that we fertilize and that makes your crops. And we work real hard at making sure that we have great topsoil. Well, hey, we'll move on to the next cornfield. Okay, continuing on the corn tour. As you can see, this corn over my shoulder here, this is a river bottom. And anybody that's farmed down the bottoms, especially that's got black ground in them, the corn generally comes up a whole lot better. Up top, we were having to use the microphone because of the wind, and you can kind of hear the wind down here, and you can maybe see it blowing up in the trees, but you just don't have the wind down here. One thing that we can have is water. There's a lot of you'd call it a river. We call it a creek because if it's not the Mississippi or the Illinois, it's not big enough to be a river around here. But pretty good amount of water. Where we're standing, you could be 15 feet underwater if it floods big time. Well, that's one reason this is one of our 2 of only corn on cornfields. Soybeans, if you get water in like August on them, they'll abort the pods up however high up the water gets on the plants. So we plant corn because once the corn gets pollinated and the year gets along, it can take a little bit higher water if you get late water in the year. Now, if this corn got water over it, it would drown out. But you could look at this. Got good spacing, good emergence. Once again, it's if you can show a close up of that. Look how almost white that corn is. It's yellow. It needs some sunlight. It needs, here, the plant right there by you is probably, see how the white's on the edge? White in the middle there? That chlorophyll needs some sunlight and it needs some heat to green this corn up and get it going. But it's up. It's up. It looks good. This kind of soil, the corn comes up. It just, you just always will come up. And I'm pretty happy with this stand. Yeah, you gotta remember, folks, I plant this with a Kinsey corn planter, with a finger pickup. And as long as you don't run that too fast, you can get, look at the spacing there. That's good spacing. Now, is that, you know, with all these precision and all that stuff, but all that stuff costs money. And we're down to the most economical yield. And we got a 16-row planter and no more acres than we got. As long as we keep our foot out of the accelerator, we can get a really good stand. We took the units over and had them completely gone through on the test stand, replaced quite a bit. I don't know, by the time you figure, what, probably $50–$60 per unit were replaced, but got a good stand here. Got good spacing, looks nice, it's up. On to the next cornfield. This is the last field of corn on the corn tour. This is the field that we've kind of been keeping track of. This is the field that the first one I planted. But look at this cold damage. See how that's tied up? That's tied up from cold damage. Look how those leaves are just yellow. No green chlorophyll in them at all. They need some heat. They need some sunshine. It almost looks like freeze damage, frost damage to me. Good stand. It goes up, but boy, we need some heat. We need some nighttime heat too. Last night it got down to 48 or 49. And I know that's not that cold. Well, this corn could use some heat. It could use some nighttime heat. It could use some daytime heat. And I mean, it's going to be okay. But it sure looks, as farming wife said, it looks sickly. You look over here, you got a couple of them here. Now this one's broke itself out, so it'll uncurl. That one eventually will grow enough to uncurl. But it's just cold weather. Just cold weather. Oh well, warm up sometime. This is our last field of corn we're looking at on the corn tour. We'll keep track of it though for you all year.